welcome to another exclusive video from Recovery Today Magazine and recoverytodaymagazine.com. My name is Rob Hanley and I'm the producer of Recovery Today Magazine, and it is my distinct pleasure again to sit with a really cool guest. And this is in a continuing series that is called Hope Across the Country. My guest today in this second installment of this continuing series, we think it'll probably be a 4-part series or a 5-part series, is my new friend Chris Miller, who is really practically superhuman, at least in my book, because if you caught the last edition that we did last month, and if you didn't, go back, it's the July 2017 issue, and read all about Chris, but we'll catch up a little bit here. Here's the deal. If you think about how hard it would be for somebody to run a marathon, or even a 10K or a 15K, but marathon about 26 some odd miles per day, Chris is doing a marathon basically 20 to 30 miles per day, pretty much every day, and I'll get into drilling him in a second here, but pretty much every day from New York City to Los Angeles, all in the name of bringing awareness to addiction and sobriety. Thank you so much, Chris. Again, I can't believe how fresh you look here. That you've ran practically a marathon today. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, I ran 25 miles today. So.
All right. So, just so everybody doesn't necessarily have to go back and look at the last installment, and you really should, because it was great. We're tracking Chris. You got your watch by chance, or somewhere nearby? So we're tracking Chris right there on his GPS watch. Somewhere in the article right here, you're going to be able to click through. You'll literally be able to see where he is and go to their page and see different things. But please start out, for anybody that is not, that didn't catch it, the first one, and tell us what this is all about.
Yeah, so my run is called Crisscross the Nation. It's a 3,000-mile, 5-month run across America to raise awareness about drug and alcohol addiction and long-term recovery in the United States. So I started in Liberty State Park, New Jersey on July 17th. I've been on the road for a little over a month now, and I've been running, between 20 to 30 miles a day. I've crossed nearly 4 states. I crossed New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and right now I'm in the middle of Indiana. I'm just outside of Logansport. So
absolutely amazing. So, I was completely blown away when we first started out. Now you're in a hotel room, it looks like, right now, or that's some place that you're going to stay. Because you're camping sometimes, right?
Yeah, so I'm at a family member's house right now. But when I was in Pennsylvania, I crossed the state by myself. So I crossed pushing all my gear in a Thule baby jogger. So I had my tent, my ground pad, my sleeping bag, all that. And I was running from campsite to campsite. And if I couldn't find a campsite close by, I'd stay in a reasonable motel.
So you would literally run like 20 some odd miles in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would, and then from there, pitch a tent, camp out, and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Just taking breaks here and there. I found that the best way to cover the mileage is to divide it up into 2 or 3 segments. So if I run a 30-mile day, I'll divide it up into 3 10-mile runs. So I'm running a segment in the morning, in the afternoon, and then one in the evening as well.
So talk to me a little bit. One of the things I got so excited about this when we first connected, and I learned about this, was the whole, kind of the tie-in, if you will, with addiction and sobriety. And you're doing this kind of on behalf of a family member that shall remain anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the inspiration for this. But what intrigued me so much as we talked about this was that you were gonna, you're gonna have conversation, engage in, with people. Who have you met, and kind of update me on that.
Yeah. So we've been developing a video campaign. We're documenting, the entire journey, and we're making short videos that show the story. I met a ton of people. It's pretty incredible because it usually comes at unexpected times. I'll start up a conversation with somebody during the route, and you know, take half an hour and talk to them a little bit about the run and the cause. We talked to a really interesting woman in Lodi, Ohio, Nicole Walmsley, and she's in recovery. She's developed a program in Lodi that's actually been incorporated in 12 other counties, and she's working closely with the police department. And it's a program in which people that want to get they want to that want to seek treatment, they can turn themselves into the police, and they won't necessarily go through the criminal justice system. The they send them to treatment instead.
Wow.
Um,
There's
so
two other police departments I know. I've heard this for about maybe about a year. Seems
mhm.
to me that one of them was actually written up in I don't know, some national magazine, Newsweek or something like that, and it was a police department. The first one I heard of was in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was the same thing. The
Okay.
sheriff or whoever was police chief said, "Not going to arrest people. If you want to come in, we'll help you get into treatment."
Hmm.
And then there's another one I think in New Jersey, and then a lot of different treatment centers now are going into hospitals to help people to get into treatment or
Right.
different things. So really, really awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what else? I like that one. What else have you what else have you learned or found out or
Yeah,
interesting?
so we passed through my hometown last week, and we did several different community events. One of our main sponsor is Parkview.
Mm-hmm.
It's a health system in northern Indiana,
Okay.
and they got us in touch with the Hobson House. The Hobson House is it's a I don't know if it would be classified as a halfway house, but
Residential type of
it's a
thing.
residential, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
place where people in recovery can live, and they go to PBH, which is Parkview Behavioral Health Hospital,
Okay.
and that's where they get their treatment. Um, and just we spent a couple days there interviewing the guys and just hanging out with them and getting to know them, and you know met some really incredible people and heard some powerful stories. So what stood out to me at the Hobson House was just it was like a fraternity. Everyone worked together. There was a sense of community, and it was really amazing.
I think a lot of it is it's kind of akin almost to being in a war zone. I would think that thank goodness I've never been to war, but watching movies and things like that, that people go into something that's really traumatic, and when they
Hmm.
make it out the other side, they're pretty close. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually completely dissimilar like that. That people they. And I think there's so much of it's life and death. It is maybe I guess it really is a war zone. It's probably not a bad analogy.
Hmm.
So yeah, we find that too. Residential treatment. Our publisher, as actually my brother is our publisher of Recovery Today magazine and owns it's called SOBA Recovery Center. It's across the country, and what he's always said is that the chances of people having a successful um, long term recovery, something that's going to stick, if they're in recovery for like if they're in a treatment center or something, or it's 30 days, I think it's pretty low typically. Depends obviously on what they're doing, but it's pretty low. It's like 3 or 4%. But if somebody can stay into some kind of a treatment center, transitioning from detox to inpatient to outpatient, and then like a residential or a
Yeah.
sober living type of a thing, which is what SOBA does, is actually start to finish, is that they will the chances go up to like 90 some odd percent. So it's
Hmm.
just a matter of getting people used to it and everything. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What else? So 4 states you've crossed.
Uh-huh.
Um, do you find people are pretty receptive, or they tell you that my brother, my sister, my mother, my whatever type of their
Well,
story?
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Once you start to talk to people about the cause, you realize that you realize how many people have actually been impacted by it. I mean, it's everywhere. Uh, another like another brief story. We stopped in a small town in Ohio, and we went to like a corner store there, and we started talking to some women there, and we bought our groceries. And as we were checking out, the woman said, "Oh no, it's on the house. My dad's an alcoholic. My brothers struggle with drug addiction as well, and we just really appreciate what you're doing." So, and that happens often. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
I have heard a statistic, and maybe we mentioned on the last interview that something like one third, one out of every three people, at least knows somebody directly that
yeah,
either they are in themselves or they know somebody directly, a family member, somebody they work with, that is somewhere in the path of either active addiction all the way to long-term sobriety.
hmm
So pretty big. How about is there any kind of a distinguish if anybody told you opiates or heroin or alcoholism most prevalent? What are you kind of seeing?
yeah. Everybody brings up the opioid epidemic. That especially in Ohio, well, in Pennsylvania as well. Yeah, that's a big topic. So you can tell that the communities that we've passed through have really been impacted by it, large and small. And it's something that it's across the board. I mean, it's not affecting a particular demographic or a particular group of people. It's impacting everyone.
Yeah, it does. And it's obviously it's one of the things I heard too. Again, maybe we discussed it in the last interview. It seems like comes up so much is the amount of money. I think that the opiate epidemic it was. I heard somebody say one time that it was almost a trillion, which is an enormous number. But that was probably it was in lost work and productivity, incarceration,
Mhm.
theft, all of these kind of things like that. All of it adds up because maybe if it's not just the individual that's sick, or that has a sick day type of a thing,
Mhm.
but it affects all the other family members in terms of loss of productivity and stuff like that
Yeah,
too. So it's pretty big.
yeah.
Doctors over prescribing. Really cool. So, how many miles again? You said earlier how many was it? 700? You said something like
Yes,
that.
I'm at about 730 miles now.
And,
Um, yeah,
and
and,
are
and
you
I,
are you getting tired?
no, I feel pretty good.
Uh huh.
Yeah, yeah, I feel really good.
Is it just a given that you're going to finish this? I mean, not based on determination, but like on a reality kind of a thing. It still seems to me to be pretty superhuman. Although now you've been at this a month. I just
Yeah.
assumed that yeah, you'd finish for sure. But I think it's. I mean, is that a given?
Considering my mindset and my determination, yeah, I'm in my mind. I've already reached Los Angeles. So
What do you
every
think
day,
about when you're on the road and you're quiet and it's you're by yourself for 4 hours every day or 5 hours every day? You get a lot of
yeah,
solitude.
yeah, I think about different chapters in my life. I think about friends and family and what I'm gonna do after the run. I I talk to people on my phone. I listen to music.
Oh, is that right? Okay. You're running down, you got a headset on, and you're calling
Well, yeah.
people.
So I don't use a headset. I've got my cell phone hooked up to the well when I was pushing the baby jogger, I had it hooked up to the handlebars, and so I could call somebody and just put it on speakerphone and talk to them or listen to Spotify. Uh,
That's so funny, man. That's so
yeah.
funny. So so in Indiana. I'm trying to think of my geography. Going Indiana to the left. Let me think here. How much further have you got, and what's the next state, and the next state, and what's the next state? I know Kansas is somewhere in there, and what is
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, so I've got 77 miles to the border with Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I'm not sure
Illinois
what
is kind of a skinny one if you're running across. It's not like it's
yeah.
Kansas is wide, Nebraska is a wide one. So
Yeah, yeah. Kansas is. I think Kansas is going to be like Pennsylvania. I mean, it's
long, right? Long
yeah,
and
it's really
wide. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so I'll be going through Illinois, Missouri, Kansas. Those are the next three after Indiana.
So about where do you think we'll be? Because this is part two, as I said, of a continuing
Hmm
series. We think this series is 4 months or 5 months. What's the projected finish time? Is it Christmas? What is it?
December 17th.
Okay, so right at that nice Christmas present. So
Mhm.
this interview here is going to go in our August issue. We publish at the end of the month. So yeah, all right. So we'll be right around that time frame. In the
Okay.
next, so in about 30 days, I guess. Where do we think that you'll be? Then you're in Indiana now. Where do we expect that we'll be when we talk the next time?
Should be either in Kansas, in eastern Kansas, or close to the border.
Kansas City, Wichita. What are you hitting there, or is there no big cities again? Because it's a lot of rural roads, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to avoid the big cities because of traffic, and but I'll be just south of Kansas City.
Now, is there
So
any concern at all, like with where you are as remote, of somebody mugging you or something like that, or anything? It just seems like such a, it just seems like you're so far. I think of the solitude that you have, especially when you said, "Yeah, I went all the way across Pennsylvania, by myself," type of a thing. I mean, I know that
if
people are kind and good natured, but it's just so funny that I'm thinking when you caught my attention when you're talking about avoiding the big cities, that there's traffic and things, and I was thinking of other obstacles is where my mind was
yeah,
going with that. Probably
if
not, I
so-
assume.
if someone mugged me, they wouldn't get
Right,
much.
there you go. They get the
Uh,
stroller, right?
but I try not to think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm mainly looking out for dogs,
Oh wow, okay.
for dogs that aren't tied up.
okay. Have you been chased yet?
Yeah, I got chased actually running into my hometown. I was out on
Wow.
a country road, but fortunately the owner was out in the front yard, so
You
she
packing you
got her
packing
dog.
some you packing some mace there, or some
I got
pepper
some
spray?
mace. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I got some. Yeah.
You hook that up like James Bond style to the baby carriage or something, right? Forward and backward, type of a thing.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I've really, I'm just real excited about all of this. Where can our readers? Part two here again. What can our readers do? How can they help you, cheer you on, learn more about it? Get, Tell me all the stuff.
Yeah, so they can check out my website www.crisscrossthenation.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at crisscrossthenation. And feel free to send me a message of support.
Do
I
you
always
respond to
appreciate
those
it.
yourself? Who responds to all that? Is that part of your crew?
Yes, it's either me or it's my cousin Mike.
Very cool.
Uh,
Very cool.
yeah.
So www.crisscrossthenation.com,
hmm
Facebook and Instagram, crisscross the nation, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we obviously will stay in touch as you go
Yeah. Of
along here.
course.
Our thoughts and prayers, and on this in this feature, we'll have different pictures of your journey, of where you're at right now. And again, you can always click on the image of the watch. It's interactive. It's going to
Yeah.
take you over. It'll show you all of Chris's journey, show you where he is right at the moment right now on a map, and it's really cool. And it's all for recovery. Hey, maybe some of our readers can pick out your route, and you'll go through a particular town, and you can connect with somebody. So your route is on the watch, right?
Yeah, so my I have got my route all mapped out and it's on the website. So if anybody's interested in running with me,
Oh, that would be really cool. So there's a call to action right there.
yeah,
All right, so let's hopefully we can get somebody, one of our readers out there, promote it far and wide. Run a few miles with Chris a day or whatever you can do. That's a really great idea. Has that happened so far?
yeah, I've had a couple guest runners. It's been great. It helps the time pass.
Really like that a lot. All right, my friend. Well, thanks again for taking a minute. Today you look, like I said, you look really fresh, having run basically a marathon today. I'm kind of jealous that you can. I think I'd be practically dead. So you'll be at it again tomorrow. So thanks so
Yep.
much. This has
Yeah,
been
thank
another.
you.
Thank you. It's been another exclusive interview with Recovery Today Magazine, recoverytodaymagazine.com. Make sure you check out Chris's website, Chris Cross the Nation, at Chris Cross the Nation, and we'll see you on the other side.
Okay.